guys, it's me, your girl, Tessa, back with another episode of Tess Talks. It's not being visually recorded, but we're going to knock these out one way or another, okay? Bobby jokes, my boy, without you, we would have nothing. Bobby jokes, by the way, if anyone needs a producer slash editor slash media, digital media extraordinaire, please let Bobby Jokes know. He is currently freelance available. And until this podcast starts to make millions of dollars, we are both in a pretty low tax bracket, okay? But that's just we'll start with that. I wanted to start doing these a little bit more frequently, and I'm thinking of a Tess Talks rebrand that's maybe like 10 minutes with Tessa, because really so much has happened. I listened to the last episode of the podcast, and there were so many little things I forgot to talk about, so many guests that we had on the show. Like, life for me is just happening so fast. So by the time we sit down, set up the camera, do this, do that, it's like all this shit has already escaped me. So I'm going to start talking to you guys like you are my home girls and boys, okay? Please let me know if there is anything that you do like. Actually, don't let me know. If you don't like something, keep that shit to yourself. You know, I think I talked about it the last episode. I posted this video of my outfit for Rodeo Best Bites Uncorked, which I was the MC. Thank you so much. And like, people are like, oh my God, no, ew, gross. And I'm like, bitch, first of all, check the date, because I already hosted that 2 weeks ago. Don't tell me I didn't look good. I got 5,000 compliments, Susan, in fucking Cyprus, like talking that shit to me. So rude. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it. And there's a way to be nice about stuff that's also still helpful. Like, people have made mistakes around me at work. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm talking to you as your friend. You really need to pull your head out of your ass. But I don't say it like that. I tell them in a way that's helpful. Okay, you should let the professionals cook. Okay, I'm reading from my notes right now. It says the first note is let the professionals cook. What do I mean by that? I mean, I'm not going to walk into your job, Steve, in accounting and be like, actually, your Excel spreadsheet should be pink. It's a lot funner and a lot nicer. Like, no, I'm going to let you do that. I'm not going to, that's another thing. Get you people, like, I understand if you have a vision for your hair or for your nails and stuff like that. But a lot of times, you know, people that are working in an industry and that have been there, even if it's for a year, like, wouldn't you say they know a little bit more? Like, I'll give you an example. I got my cowboy hat from Tecovas. Okay. I was kind of short on time. I grabbed it and I wore it as is. And actually, someone in the comments was like, I think the hat needs shaping. And they were right. I would have shaped it had we had more time. So I recently took it back to Jacova's. Very nice young lady named Victoria at the location in the Rice Village. And she was like, hey, just so you know, like, I want to manage your expectations. This is not a fully wool hat, so it's not going to bend up as far as you want, and blah, blah. And I looked at her. My hair was in a ponytail. I wasn't even going to try the damn hat on. I know the hat fits. I already bought it. I already wore it once. I said, Victoria, I trust you. You will make this hat perfect, okay? Whatever it'll be perfect. She designed it. She put a little lace, a little twine around it, a little leather rope, a little old flower. Looked great. Better than I could have ever done, okay? Same thing. When I go to my hairdresser, when I go to Manny, I mean, there are certain things. Manny likes a big blowout, right? So if I want my hair straight and chic and like flat, Manny's not the guy for that. But I can figure that out on my own. I can manage that. I need him to get my color right. I need my grays gone. I need my color to look dynamic and beautiful on air. And yeah, I'll leave with the Victoria's Secret blowout every time I go see him. Like, he's just the man in that way. So we lean into strengths. Do you see what I'm saying? I made a horrendous mistake, went to the wrong nail shop. I usually go to my boy Brian on Washington at Che Nails, CHE Nails on Washington. Does it cost me an arm and a leg? A little bit. It's a little expensive. But man, his work is quality. I can show him any picture. And so this is what happened. Brian was mega booked. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just leave this man alone, because it was like the weekend. I go, let me find a place close to me. I popped in somewhere here in Midtown on the way to downtown. And I showed them a picture the way I do Brian every time. I'm like, this is what I want. It was like leopard, you know, very basic. I thought of very basic. I said, surely they can do this. And she goes, well, just find the colors that you want. I'm like, no. I showed you the picture. You find the colors that I want, okay? And then I said, hold on. you have to meet people where they are. I go, why don't we just do a classic pink? Okay, we did a classic pink on both the nails and the toes. It was still not an arm and a leg. And, you know, I'll be going back to Brian so he can fix my life again. When people are good at what they do, you have to let them cook, okay? I shoot stories for a living. I do this thing where we go, we don't have a ton of time to tell a story. Sometimes we're on a time crunch. And especially if it's like a sponsored segment, if it's like a paying customer, they want to tell you every nook and cranny of what they do. And don't get me wrong, it's usually a very good business, but you can't throw that much information at people. So I try to take the most simple, appealing, visually stunning stuff we can and tell the story that way, okay? Let me cook. When I do something like that, you let me cook. That's when it's my time to shine. I've been on TV and radio media for 10 plus years, ladies. Okay, so let professionals cook. All right, I have taken up a scrapbooking of sorts. And what I mean by that is all these badges I get, all these pictures me and Travis take at these festivals, all these little, even cute business cards or just doodads. Doodads, if we have a table reserved under our name that's cute, something that someone went out of their way to make me a nice card or thank you note. I just ordered a bunch of double-sided tape that you can like, it's like a whiteout, you know those whiteout like little machines, like rolly machines that you could just and like you have whiteout. Okay, it's like that, but it's double-sided tape. I found a nice journal that I haven't used because I never fucking journal. Beautiful Stefania Jimenez gifted it for me to my birthday like 2 years ago. And that's what I'm using it for. So I have like my manifestations in there and I'm like doing all the shit like Rockets ticket stubs. I love the Rockets. I want to remember all the games, but like if we keep everything, we just end up with piles and piles of mess and paper. Rodeo parking passes that expire, like little shit like that. I'm starting a scrapbooking of sorts, okay? And I really like it. I feel a little bit less bad because I end up throwing a lot of those things out. Speaking of rodeo, I was today actually, I was the Rodeo Gold Buckle Foodie competition judge, okay? So this is the second time I've done it. There are 6 categories, okay? Let me tell you what they are. Best fried food, best food on a stick, most classic fair food, and then you get into most creative, best new flavor, and dessert, okay? Now, do I know my shit or don't I know my shit, okay? So they give you 3, and you're supposed to rank them first, second, third place. That's what we did today. First place for fried food was like this lobster thingy. Fried lobster was the best thing I had there, okay? But in that same category, there was this fried blueberry pie with ice cream. That was fucking delicious. And that should have been in the dessert category because I think it would have won. However, there were some Dubai chocolate funnel cake fries. I believe that won in like best new flavor or like most creative fair food. That did win something, a gold buckle. That's like hardware for the vendors to say, hey, officially the board of directors here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo have confirmed it. We are the motherfucking deliciousness. Okay. So I did that. You got to take a lot of little bites. And guess who was there? Many familiar faces and voices from Houston were there. Mo from Rod Ryan Show was there. It's always lovely to see her. I caught her with a mouthful of food when I was recording a segment. I felt so bad. Caitlin, Riggs. I love them. And here's what I fucking do. And I hate that I do this. I always get 93Q. I have to double check with them. And I bet they're like, this dumb bitch doesn't know where we work. That's not true. I like every single one of their Instagram posts. I follow them all. I follow Riggs and Caitlin and Lo from It's Low Radio. Like I obsess over them. In my dream, I work for a country music station. Will they give me a little side job? Maybe you think? Because I love country music. So they were there. From my station, Kathy Hernandez, Justin Stapleton were there. We had a lot of fun at our table. We sat with a bunch of food influencers that I'm sure you guys follow on Instagram, The Hanger Houstonian and Houston Foodie. Adrian and Danielle are their names. And they are so much fun and they know their stuff. They really know their stuff. That was really good. Really, really good. And obviously I'm very full and I have to go back to work for a meeting. So right now it is 2:10. I have a work meeting at 3:30 on the other side of Houston, which sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand. I don't think a lot of times corporations understand what equates to employee happiness, but hey, I'll be there. I'll be there. You tell me it's an in-person meeting, I will be there. Okay, who else was there? Miss Rodeo Texas 2025, Rihanna Santos is someone who I did a feature story on. Okay. I went out to China Grove Ranch, which is like, I think it's close to Angleton. And I met her dad, and her mom. And what a lovely family. In my next life, I would like to be born into a lovely family. As you know, if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, my mom and my dad, both of them were the black sheeps in their family, and they were ratchet growing up, which is why you're like, Tessa, that's why you're ratchet. And you know what? You're not wrong. But Rihanna is someone who I feel she's like, you know, her dad went to Texas A&M, her sister went to Texas A&M, her mom is just so lovely. She went to Texas A&M. So they're all Aggies. She's she's a horse girl. She's learned to ride a horse, when she was a little baby, probably, first one of her first core memories. So she's on the equestrian team at A&M. She has since graduated. She has a herbarium collection, so she knows all like the scientific names of like different blades of grass here in South Texas and beyond. I mean, she's just so fucking impressive. Okay. Just so impressive. So she was there. She got to be a judge there. It was good to see her. And she came up to me. She goes, "Hey, your story made me cry." And I go, "Good." She goes, "It made me seem like a really nice, lovely girl." I go, "Rihanna, you are. Don't get me wrong. You know, she's tough as shit. You know, she's tough as nails. If you're roping and riding, like you're not some pushover girl, but she was really inspiring. She inspired me. And I mean, that girl's going places, fast on a horse, going places. Speaking of girls going places, my little niece, Sophia, I try to FaceTime her. It's kind of like a hit of dopamine that I get when I FaceTime her, because whether she's in a good or bad mood, she's just so funny. Last time she was here, we went to go feed the ducks, and she was like aggressively getting in the ducks' faces and like throwing crackers at them. Anyway, so I was on my walk this morning, because I'm like, you need to walk a mile if you're gonna go eat 1,000 calories, 10,000 calories. And I showed her the ducks. She's like, "Ducks." I'm like, "Yeah, you know the ducks, girl. You know what's up with the ducks." Before I was leaving, so I took the train in, and I'm taking the metro out. We also did a story on this family called Chato on the Road. That's their family act. So it's this guy, Tomas. I believe his wife's name is Justine. He has 3 little vaquero kids, cute little baby cowboys. Okay. And they're all like do the charreria, which is the national sport of Mexico. And they have him like off to the side in one of these outdoor places, but it is so cool. They're all there riding on their horses. And the charreria is really like a display of like the horses with the cowboy. And then there's roping going on like that. That's as best as I can explain it, but it is a beautiful art form. And if you get a chance to see that at Rodeo, go check it out. I think his show is at noon every day. It's at like noon, 3, and 6. I mean, don't quote me on that, but Chato on the Road is the act. And if you see anything like that, it is just so impressive. So, but their family, Tomas is from Mexico City. His wife, oh my God, his wife is so beautiful. And when they're all dressed up in like their traditional attire, she is from France. And then, they have the little kids. And so they speak English, Spanish, and French, like frequently between like those are the 3 languages spoken in their household. And I just thought that was so, so impressive. It's a good time to remind you guys that Tess Talks, old brand, new brand, later brand, are all brought to you by J. Barrera Law. J. Barrera Law is my family law firm in Corpus Christi. They're expanding to Houston and beyond. You can give them a call, 713-295-1182. You can also check them out at jbarreralaw.com. If it weren't for J. Barrera Law, I would have never got to my Rod Ryan Show interview and interviewed there, because I got in a car wreck the night before with my family, and boom, boom, boom. They got me in a car rental really, really quick. I was able to come here, impress everyone, And I am here. Alas, I am here, still impressing you from my couch, live, 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 live. All right, let's talk about. I mean, this is hard. This is hard to talk about, but it happens. It happens more infrequently than not. So, about, let's say, 2 to 4 times a week, there will be a tour that goes into the studio. They get a tour of the news station. It could be anyone. It could be senior citizens. It could be an elementary school. It could be a middle school. It could be a high school. It could be, a random trip, or there could be like a TV news class in, high school or middle school, and they want to come and see the behind the scenes of how we do it. And, I know the business has changed a lot, and I know these kids don't watch news, and I know a lot of them are more impressed with their favorite YouTube channel, and those creators have built something too. I'm impressed with YouTube creators and channels, but I would say that this age group of like seventh graders, I think that's the sweet spot for just being a little shit. Okay. Little shithead. And we had a group that came in, and okay, so get this. So our studio, the way it works is that we're at our desks. Our desks are upstairs in like the corner of a very big building. The studio is like downstairs in another little corner, like almost beneath us, right? But like it's a haul to get there. It's a lot to, if you're in a flow state of like work and getting things done and writing scripts and putting in, visuals for the show, fixing copy. It's a lot to stop, go down and say hi. But we love doing that because Derek and I, of course, want to show appreciation to anyone that came to our station. It's like someone coming to your house. It's like, oh my God, thank you. Can I get you something to drink? And our form of that is like, do you have any questions for us? You want to take some pictures? Like, what's up? Where are you guys from? Tell us about yourselves. About us. What can we tell you about our gigs, our lives? And we kind of open up in that way. And, a lot of the questions are the same. Have you ever had anything go wrong? And, during a live show, what time do you have to be ready? Does someone do your hair and makeup is one I get a lot. No, the answer is no. I do someone, me. And so, things like that. But this last little shithead group, I mean, I don't think they could have cared less. I think they asked rude questions. And I came up with an idea, a version of Scared Straight. You know that show Scared Straight, where it's like little badass kids misbehaving, and then they like let them go hang out in jail for like 24 hours, and then they're finally like, okay, I'll be good. I want to do that, but I want those kids to like go be parented by my mom for like a week. Just a week. And then they'd come back, and then their little asses would be in gear. Okay, they'd look you in the eye. They'd say, no, ma'am. They'd say, yes, sir. They wouldn't ask dumbass questions trying to be funny. And they certainly would not try. They certainly wouldn't dish anything out without the expectation of it coming back 4 times as hard. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's talk about, and you know what? I think there is a direct correlation because so many teachers are quitting their fucking jobs. You have teachers running for the hills, people that had a dream to be a teaching professional, who were born to show kids how to do things, why to do things, to show them compassion and rules and things like that, to really teach them how to, be synchronistic with society and be a decent human. Those people, those teachers, they're underpaid. And a lot of you parents have the back of your shithead little kid. It is so crazy to me. Well, I'm always going to take my kid's side. Well, guess what? You're the problem. You are the problem. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I'm a mama bear. I may not have kids, but I have sisters and I have people that I would go to bat for. I am such a champion of speaking up for other people on their behalf. But some of y'all's kids are assholes. And I think they learned it from you. And then it's the double down on the back end because you are an asshole. You have their back and they know what they can get away with. It is crazy to me. What happened to respect your elders? And I know your elders aren't always right, but we are losing teachers at an astronomical rate. And it is because you guys have your little kids back. It's too hard. You too hard. And then you spoil them, and then they go out and they try to be interns. And you know who gets to be interns? I'll tell you something. I was watching a video of comedian Robbie Hoffman. She was on the Late Show with Seth Meyers. It was just a little clip on TikTok. And Seth was like, so Robbie, like you're so funny. You're such a good comedian. I heard you wanted to be an accountant when you were little. And she was like, no, I didn't want to be an accountant. We were poor. So I wanted money. There was no dreaming allowed in my home. There was no hope. Poor kids aren't allowed to hope. So you have the very poorest of the poor that don't even get allowed to dream. And they know that if they misbehave in school, that it's going to be their ass. And they're already walking on thin ice, okay? Because their parents are strict with them because they know they don't have any leeway. They know either way, they're taking an L at some point in the day. But then you have your spoiled little kids who are being told they're always right. And those are the little pricks that have time for an internship. And then they show up at the corporate job, zero problem solving skills, zero hunger. And at the end of the day, my mom or dad, they're glad I'm here. They got me this position. And then, it'll figure it out. It'll work itself out. It always does, because those kids are used to getting W's. And it is so ass backwards, and it breaks my heart. But I want you to tell, I don't even know if a struggling kid would be listening to this show, to this podcast. But man, that person keeps grinding. That person holds on tight and does whatever it takes by any means necessary to just get out of a circumstance where they can finally breathe and finally maybe hold on to a dream. And I hope the universe opens up all kinds of doors for those people, because those are the people that are fun to work with, and those are the people that make the biggest difference. I was shooting a story here downtown, and it was with murals, and I had my video out, and I had my KPRC2 badge on. And someone asked me, he said, hey, you work at KPRC? I said, yes. He goes, well, I'm going to tell my daughter to you guys have internships there? I go, yes, sir, we do. And he goes, yeah, I got to tell my daughter to get back on it. What's your name? I'm going to put you down as a reference. I go, oh, you're going to put me down as a reference? I go, well, then you better tell your daughter to answer me when I ask her, why did your dad have to ask me about an internship at KPRC? She should have been looking it up. And respectfully, sir, I say that respectfully, because there are two types of people in this world: the people that are asking about stuff and the people that are just going out and doing it. And the latter are the people that I want in my general orbit. Okay. So there's my rant with that. On a lighter note, this double Dutch dance, you remember? Okay, you're like, what are you, Tessa? What are you talking about? The double Dutch bus with your whole. So there's a very popular TikTok that's becoming a TikTok trend / dance, and I want to learn it, but it's pretty hard. Casting calls. I want to be a traitor. I want to be on the traitors. I have not finished my casting application for that. I did start one. How would that work with me and my job? I don't know, but you never, again, that's what I'm saying. You just put your name in the hat. Sometimes you get it. It'd be great. Speaking of traitors, Rob did buy Maura a Birkin bag, and I believe he delivered it on Watch What Happens Live, and he had white gloves on and the whole thing. So at least Maura got a Birkin out of the whole deal after she was bamboozled by a traitor. There's been a lot of nightmare stories from people. I've heard a guy tell one about dating an influencer, and I heard a girl tell one. So she was on a date with this guy, and she's in the room, and he's making content about being on a date. And then the guy, same, he went on a second date, but he had already saw the get ready with me from the first date, and he said it was just too much. I've put my business out there. I remember recording a podcast when my last ex cheated on me, and I was going through it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lay this down like a hot rap track in the studio for my podcast. To me, that's fair game if you do something like that. I would try to keep most stuff personal, but if you bug me over, at the very least, I have at least some inspiration and creativity and some emotion stirring. yeah, let me get a couple of vids out of it. But like in real time, let's like me telling like, oh, Travis wore a red suit today and he was this and he was that. And by the way, this is his last name and this is where he worked. Like, actually, Travis probably would like to tell for me to tell you guys where he works because he's a financial advisor. If you guys need financial advice, please hit at Sweet Puddins up on all your social channels, okay? But no, he's great guy, that Travis. Okay, I'm pretty much done. Let me know if you guys like this style of podcasting better. I mean, we're almost at 30 minutes here. Update from the apartment. I am growing a ginger root. I am growing green onions. Well, I just bought green onions for the store and then put them in plants and they continue to grow really, really tall. So I've been able to use them like multiple times, but I think I'm about to throw them out. There was this really interesting story about this chick that had moved to Mexico City. She's like, I'm a digital nomad in Mexico City. Crazy. We're like illegal aliens here, right? If someone from Mexico City comes over here and hangs out, they're illegal. But if an American goes over there, oh, you're a digital nomad. Okay, got it. So she goes and she's like, so I'm here. I've been here for like 14 days and I went to a Pilates class and oh my God, guys, the whole thing was in Spanish. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess I should have figured. That's why everyone hates us. Okay? That's why everyone hates. You go to a different country and you're wondering why they didn't cater the class to you in Spanish. I mean, in English. Okay, got it. That, I'm telling you, we're getting far gone here. We're getting far gone here. Between that and the nasty TikTok comments, like maybe I just need to log off TikTok for a little bit. Maybe. I didn't go to Cook Off this year, by the way. I had really intentionally, I had planned to, but when the time came around, I just wasn't feeling well and I'm still not on the front end of my sickness. So it's nice to record this, nice to put it out there. I do have some events. So like I said, I just judged the Gold Buckle Foodie Awards. That was really fun. I will be emceeing the celebrity goat milking contest again. And I usually MC hard dog, fast dog, but I couldn't this year because of a conflict in schedule. So I think we got Coralie from KPRC to do it. And I told the lady, Kristen, who works with Hard Dog, Fast Dog with caninesforcops.org that, even if Coralie was better host than me, it's too bad. I get to do it again next year, okay? So that's what's new with me. I'm going to go to this work meeting. We have live shows at the zoo coming up. I went and visited a tremendous venue called Country Oaks. If anyone's looking to get married, but like want a country scene and still close to Houston, look up Country Oaks. Country Oaks venue is great. They have really reasonable prices, no hidden fees. And yes, they are a sponsored client for KPRC, but I just thought that was great. I'm like, I think my brother's about to get married. I think of a wedding venue. Some places want $10,000. This place is half of that. And they offer military discounts, veteran discounts, first responder discounts, teacher discounts, and all kinds of other perks and amenities. I think they do like ice and stuff. And that's just like something I learned going out there to shoot. I don't normally go on the sales shoots. That's more of a Mel thing, but I guess she gets a little overwhelmed sometimes and we have to take some of that off of her plate. So that's what's going on with me, guys. All things considered, I live a very blessed life. I'm kind of counting the days down to my dad's 1 year death anniversary. Not to outdo anyone or one up anyone, but that's my second dad to die. So I had my first dad who died, biological father, when I was 11 months. Didn't know him that much, have talked to him and stuff in dreams and things like that. Some crazy stuff has happened with him being on the other side. This dad I really knew, and I really got to know him well, and I miss him so freaking much. But I want to have a good month, and I want to travel, and I want to have fun at work, and I want them to give me a big old fat raise at work. I'm kind of waiting for that. My contract is up at the end of this month. And Dad, I mean, come on. If you're going to do anything for me on that other side, let's get some dollar bill going for your girl. I can wipe my tears as I miss you with $100 bills. I think that would be a very nice tribute. All right, tea out. I love y'all so much. Bye.